Hey everybody, welcome back to the SoPal Political Science Course 101. This video is being shot in Neighbor Vision 3000. Seems like everybody has their Christmas lights on a timer. Just a little neighborhood update. I'll have my Christmas lights up, but man, my shoulder is fucked up right now. I mean, bad. I can't push my right arm forward. I can only barely pull it back. I'm gonna be getting some medical intervention on that shit in a bit. But this video ain't about me. It's about Israel. Watched video from Shafe, and man, I saw that title and I sort of rolled my eyes thinking, oh hell, here we go. But then I watched the video and I really liked what you had to say, and it spurred some thoughts that I had, and I think it's something worth talking about. I enjoy it, and if for no other reason than an exercise and see my thought process, see your thought process, that kind of good stuff, right? I liked what you had to say about people's opposition to the Israeli process to secure their defense, and it was good. For those who haven't watched that video and are somehow watching this one, which I can't imagine is possible, check out Return of the Shafe and his moron Israel, which I don't know why you call in Israel morons, but first and foremost, let's look at this from the modern time, and then we'll work our way backwards, right? For a modern time, establishing a country for a deposed people that nowhere else in the world seems to want hasn't really worked out so good. I'm thinking Liberia, the idea that you take American former slaves and you're like, well, we'll establish a country in their motherland of Africa and send their asses all over there. And you have to take my word for it, but my background, I've got friends and people that have had to work over in Africa, and that place is a shithole. It's a shithole because people are pissed because that state was established. It's a shithole because the people that went over there are a bunch of assholes, and it's a mess, an absolute mess. Go back a little ways to the Israel state. According to the history reports, and from what I've seen firsthand, and people whom I've spoken to firsthand, survivors firsthand, if we are to believe them, what the Jewish people had to go through was absolutely horrific, terrifying. That the Western nations carved up a portion of the Middle East during peace settlements gives people a bone to pick, potentially. Come forward a little bit in time where we have this Marxist revolution going on right now, this fifth generation Marxist revolution, which is looking for an oppressed people to rally behind. And I think you get what we're looking at right now. Because what I'm going to talk about is cognitive dissonance. So when a youngster talks about the injustices happening to Palestine, they may not just be talking about an IDF F-16 dropping a 2,000-pound bomb on a hospital, killing innocent people. They're talking about their button-up grandpa, who they see as a racist, who they hate, who has a sticker in his back window that shows like an American flag crossed with an Israel flag, and you know, they think of Pat Robertson and his button up and this white, oppressive, old school boomer that they just despise, right? They're not, what we're talking about isn't just what we're talking about when it's the kids, I don't think. They don't have the life experience to understand, you know, how do you secure the defense of your people. And it's an awful scenario, because how do you take it apart? And what do you do even better? It's one thing when, say, it's people that you're just slightly friends with on Facebook. You know, what do you do when it's your child who has a opposing view to what's going on with Israel? You know, how do you educate that point of view? Or maybe they're right to a point. Does a nation have a right to secure its defense? People in the know are, there's this Andrew Bustamante guy, claims to be former CIA, right? And his pros that he puts towards this stuff is he's like, there's no such thing as legal war. So therefore, when you're talking about war, you can't say, well, you only killed 1,000 people, so you get to only kill 1,000 people back. Shit like that. We've already passed the point of baseline morality. It's on a different level now. How do you open people's eyes to that when the other side is playing it to the bone? That's part of their training and their defense. They're hiding in a hospital for a specific reason. They're transporting their troops in school buses for a specific reason. Their barracks is underneath a school for a specific reason. They have an apartment complex as a barracks and a training facility where civilians are in the top 3 floors and the bottom 2 floors for a specific reason. They don't have a problem with human shields. And those people, the civilians of their nation, so-called, some of them, from what I've seen and from what I've heard, have no problem with being human shields. Rewind a little bit back to the weapons of mass destruction, where we had American citizens going over to Iraq to be human shields. That's the mindset. I think people go to a certain point and they get a little ate up on it. They get a little ate up on the doctrine, and they go for it hook, line, and sinker, my friend. Either side. I'd like to say give peace a chance, but I understand hate. Can hate run its course? Maybe. Sometimes not. And hate can be born out of thin air. So I think, as the mamas and the papas said, the beat's going to go on. Good videos, and I like it. And thanks for throwing another log on the fire.